there's lots too that goes with change. Change can be very scary, but it's also very exciting. If I think about my life right now, like, I love my life right now and I embrace who I am and what I stand for and my current situation. But I don't want to live like this forever. No, I'm not where I need to be right now, so I know that I need to change. Something about what I'm doing and my actions needs to change. So what is that going to be? I go through what I'm doing, what's serving me, what's not serving me, get rid of what's not serving me, look at where I want to be, what actions can I take to get me closer to where I want to be and how I want to live. And then do those actions instead of the ones that aren't serving me anymore. AKA for me, stop drinking alcohol and wasting your time at the same bars every single weekend. It's a waste of fucking time for me. Nothing good really comes from that, and nothing good happens after a certain time of night. So just removing myself from those situations. Like, yeah, it's fun to do every once in a while, and like, I'll go out with friends like every so often. I want to surround myself with people and the environments and things that help me thrive and put me in the direction of where I want to go in life. I just identify kind of how I feel in those moments, and after those moments, if it doesn't feel good or I feel anxiety or regret, then that kind of tells me, okay, I want to remove myself from this situation. How can I not put myself in that situation again? Or these people that I'm around are giving me bad vibes. Is it me? Is there something I need to change? Like, look at maybe reflecting. Am I being judgmental? They're being judgmental. Let me just remove myself from these people. These people tend to bring around bad feelings. I don't like it. These people aren't serving me. I'm going to remove them from my life or just have them in small doses. It goes with other things as well. Like, I started feeling that way at work several years ago. I was waking up every morning thinking, oh, can I call into work sick today? And I'm like, no, I can't call into work sick every day. I just didn't want to go to work. I didn't feel good. It wasn't exciting to me. It didn't light me up. It was something that I dreaded every single day. I hated how I had to sit down in a chair all day. Didn't really have much freedom. There was no freedom in that job. I didn't feel like I could be creative. It was just so restrictive for me, and I hated that feeling. It took me a good amount of time to realize that what I needed to do was quit. Can I change my mindset around this? Like, why do I have this job? This job is giving me money. It's helping me pay for my rent. It's helping me put groceries and food on the table. It is allowing me to do fun things with my friends, go out to nice dinners and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, is this worth my mental health? Is this worth my sanity? Or can I get a job and make money in a way that does make me feel good, where I am moving my body, where I am helping other people, and I can also still have all of those things, where it's bringing in money for me to do my activities and pay for my food and all of that stuff. I decided that I didn't need that job and that I could do something more aligned with who I am and what I want, and I will be so much happier as a person, so much healthier in that sense, because psychologically I feel good instead of dreading being at work every day and putting myself through a situation that I just hated. Cut that one out. That one wasn't aligned with who I am. You just look at the situation, and like I said, sometimes it takes time, but over time you figure out, oh, you pinpoint, this is the thing. This is the thing that's triggering bad feelings for me. This is the thing that is causing me distress. This is the thing that I need to remove from my life to be a happier, healthier person. Yay! But change is scary, and there's a lot of steps to go through it. And especially when you're quitting something, like a drug, because I've quit many of drugs. I've quit drugs before. It's hard, and sometimes you might relapse, It's not easy, but it's also determining for yourself what's important to you in your life. I mean, there's more to it than that. It took me a long time to quit some of the drugs. It's hard, and it's hard to make that decision as well. Even though I wanted to for so long, because I was like, these drugs are destroying my body. These drugs are making me depressed and giving me anxiety. And I knew this drug was doing this to me. But why couldn't I stop? Maybe it was like a feeling of helplessness. What am I going to do without this drug? I've relied on it for so long. Like, there's just going to be a lot of change that comes with how I feel, how I cope, how I manage and what I do in my everyday life that's going to help me without this drug. It's intimidating. And one day I finally was like, fuck this, that's it, I'm done. Cut, cold turkey, never went back. It's been, what year is it? I think it's been 3.5 at least. How old am I? I think it's been almost 4 years since I quit amphetamines. And I haven't had it at all since I quit. I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I know this is the source of a lot of my problems that I'm having. Depression, anxiety were the main two. And then also, like, it made me not hungry. I had to smoke weed every day. I didn't want to smoke weed every day anymore. Like, I was tired of that too. Sometimes I still have some marijuana. I don't think that was the problem for me. I was doing marijuana every single day because of the amphetamines were jacking me up so much. I needed something to like calm me down, like bring my nervous system, my stimulus system down. I mean, there are a lot of other external factors as well, but I'm so much healthier now. Like, so much healthier. I'm so grateful for that experience. It opened my eyes to a lot of what's going on in the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry, what those drugs are for, and how they're being misused, like, so much, and misprescribed a lot, because I was misprescribed. Like, literally, I was on meth. Not actual meth, but basically amphetamines is meth. So I put myself in that place too. I wanted to get diagnosed with ADHD. I wanted to take ADHD medication. And then when I did, and I was on it for 5 years, that was long enough for me to experience all of the bad side effects that came along with it. It was unreal. I could talk about it. So many different experiences I've had combined with other drugs and situations that I was in, and really depressive, basically suicidal thoughts that I would get while on those drugs. It's been a goal of mine since I've realized that to live in a way that's the closest to the real me that I can get, because it altered my personality so much that I didn't know who I was. I didn't recognize myself, and I didn't feel the same. It was so depressing. I didn't know who I was, and the only way that I knew how to get back to that was by not taking those drugs. And the same goes for birth control. Fuck that shit. Birth control fucked me up. I got off birth control too. It's probably been almost 3 years since I've been off birth control. That was another huge step forward for me, getting back to the way I used to feel. Happy, friendly, kind, generous, just living in the biggest chill. I mean, I've always like kind of been that way, but deep inside me feeling that way, getting off drugs has been the most transformational for me, going back to my roots and just reconnecting with who I am as a person. And I love it. I love it. So I'd love to help anybody that needs help, especially when it comes to quitting drugs. I know how it goes. It's really difficult with nicotine as well. I quit nicotine. It still enters my life at some points, but I've come a long way with nicotine, and I'm honestly still kicking the craving for it when I'm around others that are doing it. Like, that's what's really hard for me, is fiending and asking people. I haven't been doing that. I say that I haven't totally kicked it because I'm not at a point yet where I don't crave it even just a little bit. Like with the Adderall, I don't crave it at all. Like, I don't want that shit. I don't even want to be near that stuff. But with nicotine, there's still a little bit part like inside of me that's like, ooh, like, I know that I would get a good head high, but no. So there's still that little bit that's there that I'm trying to get myself to a point where it's like, eh. But whenever I do hit it, I feel like shit afterward, the next day, honestly. Like, why did I do that? Like, my throat hurts, my head feels weird, I just feel off. So it's almost like, if I do crave it in that moment, like where I really want it, sometimes I let myself do it because I know that that's just going to push me closer to the edge of just being like, fuck this, I'm done. Which I've said a bunch of times, and yeah, I've still hit it, or like smoke hookah or something. It's not an unhealthy habit for me anymore. I used to do it every single day, multiple times a day. I used to wake up and hit a vape. It's not to that point anymore. I used to say that I would smoke it just because it helped me go to the bathroom. Nick shits. It got to a point too when I was quitting them that I would become constipated. And I don't know if that was a psychological thing or if I just couldn't relax, because those things are diuretics. Like, nicotine is a diuretic. So I became constipated, and sometimes I would relapse just so I could go to the bathroom. So I'd go buy a vape, hit it, and then I'd be able to go to the bathroom. I've been through it. I've gotten myself to a point where it is like basically non-existent in my life. There was one New Year's where I smoked a cigar with a packed lip and was also hitting a vape that night too. The next day, I was disgusted with myself. I felt like shit physically and psychologically. I could hardly talk. It was gross. I grossed myself out. So I was like, I'm done. That was probably one of the first times I quit, was at that point. A friend that I quit with that on New Year's Day, I didn't tell him that I relapsed. I went 3 months not smoking, and then I relapsed like for another couple of months, and I didn't tell him that I was relapsing, but I was kind of like doing it behind his back, and he never continued. The important thing is that, you know, moderation is always key. That was not something that I felt that I could be moderate with, especially if I had one in my possession. The first step for me was, okay, you can't buy it anymore. No more buying those. I would call my cousin every time. I'd be like, I really want to buy one. I think I might buy one. And she's like, just fucking buy it. She's like, just buy it. Get it over with. She's like, you know you're going to buy it anyway. Just fucking buy it. It was just like that many more times of like relapsing and going back into it that made me feel like shit, to the point where I was just like, that's it. It's different for everybody, you know? If you understand why it's bad for you, that makes it easier to quit. If you understand the effects that it has on your long-term health and your short-term health, it's easier to quit because of the information that you have. It's just easier to make those decisions. So, a lot of times, if you're contemplating it, don't be afraid to research it, gather more information, ask people that you trust for their opinion, or confide in somebody saying, hey, I know this is not good for me. I think I might need to stop doing this. There are tools out there for you to help you through those changes. It's hard. Lean on somebody. You don't have to go through it yourself. You don't have to do it alone. I didn't. I tried my best, but I did lean on people. I did confide in people. I think that's a necessary part of the change because it makes you feel like you don't have to go at it alone and that there are people there to support you in your decision, people that aren't there to judge you. If people are judging you for quitting smoking or quitting a drug that you know is not good for you, then fuck them. They don't need to understand the decision that you're making. This is a decision for your life. This is a decision for your health. So forget what other people have judgments about and just do what you feel is the best thing for you.